Okay, this is a meeting of the Eastham Council on Aging, and this is being recorded for posterity.
Let's start.
So let us do the call to order, the roll call. Carol, you'll start roll call.
Carol the bonus.
Elaine Lipton.
Dorothy
Server.
Beverly Hobbs.
Cindy Reed.
Cheryl Gale. Richard Fribble. Terry Hendricks.
Awesome. Has everybody read the minutes and ready to accept them? Okay, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Oh, second.
Okay, everybody want to move to accept them, want to accept the minutes?
You have to do both minutes separately.
Yes, you do.
Okay, want to accept the April minutes?
Yes. everybody raise their hand.
Yes. Okay,
I moved to then May minutes.
okay, everybody in favor? Aye. It looks unanimous.
No, you need a second.
I seconded. Yeah. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we want to move to accept the April minutes.
No, we just did both.
The April, we just did both, okay.
Yeah, we did April, then we did the next one,
Thank God for you.
right?
Yep.
You got that vote. Okay.
So, Terry, what time did you have to leave?
Actually, that has all been changed. It's, Donald, Mechanical is overrun with, systems breaking down due to heat and over stress. They canceled my appointment and, I have to be moved to tomorrow,
Okay,
so.
Carol has to leave.
Cape Cod Mechanical.
Would you like to give us an update?
No,
Carol
McDonald.
has to leave by 10.
Yeah.
Have my notes on my phone.
So then that's a bundle.
They were really unremarkable as far as it goes.
Is that it?
Nope, hold on, let me see if I have them. Judy, who did the financial report, June projection versus operating budget for 2026 is less or lower than 2025. So uncertainty remains. The advisory council, community grants are still in the holding pattern. There was a presentation on quality assurance. Nutrition bids are going out for the following year. More adjustments to be made. Frozen meals are also being offered at this time. Mary Ann reported donations of 5,600. She said 562,000. Somehow, no reason, I don't think that sounds right. But there were over 1,000 from donations from the fundraisers that were done. Noted that there are 43% of adults on Cape Cod, not including the islands. Still, some construction is going on in the building for completion, is still in works, and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol.
Yeah, their newsletter just went out. They had a ribbon cutting. They're all done with their construction downstairs, it looks like.
I was via Zoom, and to tell you the truth, I don't know if it was my hearing or whatever, but it was kind of difficult to really catch on everything. I would have liked to have been there, but I had other things that were going on. But it looked good.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol. Dorothy, would you like to do your update?
Sure. So I did a month-to-month comparison. I'm sorry, I forgot to put it in there. I always forget to put mine in. So I'm just gonna run through really quickly. Summary, we had over 2,000 seniors in the month of May that were duplicated as compared to last year in May, which was over 1,600. So we saw about a 2% increase there, or 36% increase there. Fitness, listen to this, you guys. You know, we added that Zumba and the dance and chair yoga. Almost 1,200 as compared, just May. And these are all duplicates. I'm just gonna do duplicates.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can make a copy of them here to you, or email it to you guys. As compared to 2024, it was just over 600.
Wow.
We saw 66% increase in frequency. And this is important.
This is
to note.
single May.
Just May to May.
May,
Yep,
just
May to May.
not 12 months, just 6 months,
Just-
1 month.
By month, yeah, I did a year, cause we're at the end of the fiscal year, so I'll go over those numbers.
Yeah,
next with
okay.
you guys.
Wow.
that- I think it's important to note, we saw a 22% increase in individuals served in the month of May as compared to
Different.
last year. Yeah, so different people. That was significant to me, because we're attracting some new people for these classes.
I was at it this morning, there were 30 people, and every time I go, there's new faces there.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And we all sort of encourage them to keep coming.
That's great, awesome. Food, we saw an increase about 24%, not surprising, right? And then now with a family table collaborative meals, I think we're probably gonna see an increase in people served as well. Medical transportation, 42% in frequency, so 211 round trip. I'm just doing rides, because it gets confusing with people.
Yeah,
Round trip rides as compared to 149 last year, so. Good move getting Kathy to help out, because, it was just, it's too much, right? Like, it's the volume
mhm.
topped with everything else Monica's doing is,
So her availability helped.
yeah,
Increase.
and I think we probably would have seen that jump no matter what, whether Monica or Kathy was doing it, but my point is that thank God we have somebody to support this
Mhm.
program, because it's just gonna continue to grow and grow. So now I'll do fiscal year to fiscal year. 36% increase in total individuals served. So for this year, we served over 22,000 people duplicated, right? Unduplicated was about 1,300. And then for 2024, we served over 16,000 duplicated again, so we saw those people multiple times. As compared to about just under 1,200 individuals for 2024 unduplicated, so 36% increase in frequency, right? So we saw the same people, 36% more this year. And we saw a 14% increase in individuals, different individuals, new individuals to the COA as compared to last year.
What's the senior population in town? Like who are eligible, age eligible?
It's just under 60%. It's 59 and over. So it's like 59 point something, so I say about 60%.
Do we know what the number of the population is?
I haven't looked at the most recent, but it's 5,000 something. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
close
I
to
have
6,
looked.
right?
Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah.
there, so we haven't fluctuated too much. COVID, we really did, but we always see like a pickup of new retirees, coming over. But nothing drastic, I don't think. But we see our number, right, going up. Our number probably goes up more than the actual total of the town because of our population.
Right,
if that
right.
makes sense. Food security, 3,000. This is not right. I forgot to add the family table collaborative. I'm gonna get back to you guys on that. I apologize. I just realized I didn't do that. So I'll send this to everybody via email and I'll just update that statistic. Cause we have the meals that go out for the grab and go to, and I inadvertently didn't add that number onto here. So
Where's
med transportation, over like 2,300 round trip rides this year as compared to 1,400 last year. So we're seeing this volume and increase rate across the board, and I think we'll continue to do so. Update on John, I can't remember where we were at last time. John has chosen to stay at the COA. So he's gonna continue, working with us. So we're very excited and very happy about that.
What's his last name?
Limzak, ALIM. CZCCAK.
Okay.
Testing it.
Hmm.
So that's great news. So that's gonna continue. Again, the Friends are going to support that position. I've talked to John about looking at the fall to try to expand our hours as we've been trying to do for a while here. So maybe an exercise class, or I'm not sure exactly what.
Mhm.
So stay tuned. We're working towards that. I'd like to pilot something, try it out for 6 months.
Mhm.
and then kind of go from there. I did add it, you guys can look at the budgets, at the end of it, at the end of your pack. I did add it in there with the intention of people paying $5 per class. Because we are looking at a younger demographic, and the idea is like these people most likely are working. So I think once you do something for free, you can never go back. So I think $5 is reasonable. I mean, you're paying $25 a class per class for like a yoga class anywhere else, So I don't think that's a big ask. So I think that's, and it just help offset the cost a little bit.
No, I think that's reasonable.
So, we'll see how that works, and then. What else? Another staffing update is Kathy Gill. The original plan with Kathy Gill's position was to fund it from the Human Services gift account. That was in this this current fiscal year 2025. I ended up obtaining a grant. So, we used whatever was left over to keep John moving, so we kind of rolled the funds that way. This year, we did not get the grant. It's the SIG grant. I think they kind of spread the love, so I'm not overly surprised because they kind of like, so many COAs and they try to share it every year, so while we didn't get this year, like they might give it to us next year, you know what I mean? So what's gonna happen with that is we're gonna go back to the original plan. So, a portion of Kathy's salary will come from the Human Services. And then the other portion is, we've always kept her old position in the budget line item. So for, unforeseen situations, right? So, part of the year it'll come from there, we'll use that up, and then once we run out of funding there, we'll move into the Human Services. So I'm working with, accounting to set that up now. Let's see, lobster roll, we spoke with the friends about this, and we're gonna charge $20 per lobster roll, which is very reasonable. You get entertainment, dessert, drink, chips, blah, blah, blah. So, we're gonna do that. I don't think it'll be an issue.
And there's always a thing, if you can't afford, call you guys, right?
Yeah.
That will be in the
Yeah,
advertisement.
going rate's $38.
You left it out, but people, the people you need to talk to, right? To say, still come, don't worry about it, or
Right.
give us $5 and.
Right, contribution
Yeah,
or whatever it might be.
I was at
So,
Moby's the other day, they're $38 a piece,
yeah. I
they're
mean,
getting it
this
for about
is-
half price.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No, I'm just saying.
Against the $20, I just want the
No,
person who only
I
has
wasn't-
$5 to
No,
come.
I'm saying it's a really nice value, but I'm not taking exception to
Oh,
what you're
okay.
saying at all.
I think this also draws in other people that can most likely be okay with that price point, what I
Yes,
mean?
I
So
think that's true.
it kind of draws it from a bigger audience. If this was in January, I would feel totally different, because it would just be our poor people that, might be struggling being here all year, so.
Yep.
So that's that. And very exciting news, in the fall, when we have our Shine counselors come, they usually do a presentation. There'll be a two-part. First part is going to be a how-to. We also have a video on a how-to. And then the second part is gonna be a workshop. So the idea is, it'll be limited, we're still figuring out the details, but we have a new Shine counselor, is it Colleen? Yes. Colleen. Marcy will still be with us. Last year we had a counselor from Truro, is Jim? Wellfleet. Jim Lottie, so I'm not sure if he's gonna be back for open enrollment. And then Christine Lind from the Shine office will all be at the workshop.
Okay.
And the idea is, it'll be an intro, it'll be an overview of what we're doing. And then they'll break up into smaller groups so people can get the one-on-one, one-on-one, but like in a group environment, right? And then I'm gonna have Don available for tech. Specifically, like, let's say somebody in the group says, my computer's not working. John will help them sidebar, you know, so that they can kind of continue the work they're doing. So it's kind of a pilot. They've never done this before. So we're gonna see how it goes this year. If it's successful, you know, maybe we can roll more of these into next year. It's only gonna grow, you know, I mean,
Are they doing this with any other senior centers? Are they piloting with you?
I don't, you know, I called her up and asked for it.
Good.
Do you know
Great.
how many people are gonna be able to help?
I don't. I think it's gonna be dependent on how many people are coming. Just the Shine counselors are coming, how many volunteers are coming, so, you know, that'll be September, end of September will be the kind of the general overview. And the new website won't be live, so she'll use the old just to kind of walk people through. And then the end of October will be the workshop, and that's when the website will actually be live. So,
Hopefully.
yeah, and I'm not sure like how it's gonna work, you know, I don't necessarily know if they're gonna actually help that individual at that moment. They're gonna have to figure out, because everybody's plan is different and, you know, so I'll leave it up to them for those logistics, and then, you know, our part will be actually just taking the reservations and limiting the amount of attendees, because they're not gonna be able to have a big pool. And maybe if it's successful, maybe they're willing to add another one on, you know, before end of open enrollment, and so we'll kind of. But I know last year that was a big concern for everybody, here and everywhere, right? So we'll give it a whirl and see how it goes.
Well, Shine is not overstaffed.
No, right,
And I always look for volunteers.
yeah, they are,
But it requires a fair amount of training
it does.
to become a Shine counselor.
Mhm.
It's not like I want to be a Shine counselor to just start the next day.
Well, it's similar to the tax AARP as well. There's a good amount of training and facilitating, so.
Well, yeah, I will tell you for tax aid, we start our planning in September, our recruiting. You know, our curriculum this year, we're not sure what we're gonna be training people around tax law because it's still in the air. Although it's not, you know, the end of the year with tax law changes, but and we start in September. Our training starts in November for new volunteers, and then January is training for everybody. And on the Cape, that's about 100 people, 90 some people. And we bring in, last year, I think we brought in 22 new counselors.
It's great.
So our staff has grown some. And we're in 22 sites across the Cape, including the islands.
That's a
Amazing.
wonderful
Yeah,
program.
it is a great
So
program.
I know a little bit about the program.
Just a little.
It sounds like it.
More than you want.
You think?
So, and then, two other updates. Oh my gosh, we have a landscaper. Hallelujah. So that's happening. So everything's gonna get cleaned up, which is.
A
very
private
exciting.
landscaper,
Yeah.
different than the one we had before.
Well, the other one, retired, so she's no longer doing it. And then we hired someone that the town was using. I don't know what happened to them, but I called and the number was like not taking messages or working or something like that, so. I got somebody else, which is great, and then we also are getting a new sign.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there's that new, I mean, I've never seen it, I don't know if it's new in Orleans, right next to Nickerson. I happened to drive by and I was like, what is this sign shop? So,
Nickerson?
a funeral home in
Oh, yeah,
Orleans.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, right?
I had
I've
a sign
never
made
seen
by
it
them.
before, did you? Is it new? They do just clear cuts
No.
and stuff.
What's the
and I
name
just
gonna,
noticed that.
are you able
design
to
for
change the
themselves.
name? How, what?
Changing the name because we haven't decided to change anything, so.
Well, I know the newsletter has the Center for blah, blah, blah.
I'm just doing.
No
Eastham
tagline.
Senior Center with our address
Okay,
and the town seal on it.
yep.
And that's it. Simple, Linda?
Now, does the town paying for these, the
Yes.
landscaper and the
Yes.
sign?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is all set. At the back of your packet is the proposed friends budget. One thing I will note is. Oh, my note got cut off. So you'll see a good amount of money, bottom line, 118,000. That is due to the 29,000 for the salary request. less that, it works out to almost, within a couple thousand of what our request was
Where's
last
the
year.
total? Oh, there he is, way over.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this includes 29 what?
29,070, if you look right above it, that's the
Oh,
salary.
so that's the new number,
Yeah.
that's new
Yeah,
money.
I didn't really add too much,
Yeah.
a couple things here and there, but, like I bumped LGBTQ up a little bit because you guys seem to need
Mhm.
more funding.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a couple other things that I kind of, just looked at. Guesstimating.
And I just
Right.
saw that you have 0 next to, participant contributions, but as we agreed, and as we did for the T, we gathered some money, so we will have some money to contribute back.
Yeah, I didn't see that on the report Mary Jane gave me, like actual numbers from that. I might have missed it, so I apologize if I did. The contribution.
We gave one in October and then we gave one in June,
Okay, so I'll look at
just
that
to let you
again.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not huge money, but it's a little money and
And I think that always kind of happens, so, I didn't put a lot in, basically, what I did was I looked at what we did last year, right?
yep,
I'll double check that and see if it's in there, maybe I just missed it,
yeah, there should be 2.
okay. Maybe I just didn't see where it's like allocated in the line items, so
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll look at that, and if I can find it, or I can ask Mary Jane about it, we'll put it in. And then, let's see. Oh, no, I did put something in there.
I didn't see it
That's,
on the handout.
Yeah.
Right?
oh, no, that was painting. Yeah, you're right. So I'll look at that again and double check my numbers.
It's just a little thing, I just wanna say that we are going to be
Yeah.
contributing.
So I'll double check that. But other than that, I mean, I did add the $5 a class for, the extended hours, a couple other things, but as you guys look through this, if you do have questions, just let me know. And that's it for me. Thank you. Okay.
The other thing, it says, just to be consistent with the other, for the LGBT, it just says 1 under frequency.
I can break it up if you want.
Well, I know, I just noticed it is for the Elks or the, wait a minute,
I just kind of put it in parentheses, but
If you broke it down here into the monthly.
Okay.
whether that
Yeah.
Makes sense to you.
yeah, okay. I just don't want anybody thinking we're spending that amount of money on
Oh,
one
well,
event.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, oh, yeah.
It's a
I get what
fancy
you're saying.
event.
Right, absolutely. But it's how
I mean,
you
we like to
guys-
party, but not like,
how you wanna spend it. I just took a guess at.
No,
like,
you did.
monthly Copies and
Yeah.
then based on like the bigger events.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen.
nope, that's great.
Yeah. That's it. Anything? Everybody good? I love this meeting. I said, I love this meeting. Great.
So, last meeting, we discussed what we call the angel fund. And I had tried to get in with Rich. And Terry, the angel fund is, there's one with the recreation department, and there's a lot of people who come in and they do a volunteer, well, they do work that they get paid for, and they have their checks applied to taxes for seniors. And so,
Donated.
huh?
Their checks are donated to.
Yeah,
other
the checks are
seniors.
essentially donated so that they can do it, because there's a senior work off for taxes. But a lot of people have either exceeded or have met the top of what they can get, or they're not able to work. So people will donate their stuff, and as I was thinking about it, we don't have a lot that we would get paid for. Like coming to meetings, we don't get paid for, but, like I worked Monday and Tuesday at the elections. And so I'm getting paid for that. So I could donate the money that I get paid and take that and put it into the fund. But I have called, I've gotten in touch with Rich Bienvenu, who is the best person to talk to about it.
Mhm.
And we were going to meet several weeks ago, but then he was busy on the wastewater stuff. So we weren't able to get together. I ran into him last week at the new, gardener for the market. And he said to get in touch with him after the meeting and we would set up something. So I'm gonna get in touch with him later today or tomorrow. And see what we can set up. He's all excited. They're very excited about the new fund that they're setting up in Eastham to help out people. The issue with that is that it's $500 a person and you can apply twice. So I don't see that.
2 years in a row, you mean?
No, just twice. Not
Oh,
necessarily.
each tax period,
You can only apply in 2 tax periods.
right.
Yeah, you have a lifetime ability, the ability in a lifetime to apply twice.
I got you, okay.
So I don't see that. I don't see $1,000 in over life and our seniors particularly helpful.
No,
Is that the angel fund?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's,
different.
I
That's the
can't-
tax fee, there's like a tax fund.
Yeah, I
for
can't remember
seniors.
exactly what they're calling it. But it's a financial fund that they're very excited about doing, and it's great. But, and then Dave mentioned to me that it does not apply to anyone over 60. So then that would automatically exclude,
You mean under 60?
yeah, anyone, no, you can't apply if you're over 60.
really?
Because the thought is that there's so many different tax abatement and tax programs for people who are over 60.
I see.
Seniors can apply for many different abatements that they can get for over 60s, and there's a lot of programs, but there's very few programs for people under 60. So when they're looking at tax relief,
Oh, so they're doing a program for people under 60.
yeah, to help the younger people, because it's
But,
not much.
but the work-off program is for those of us over 60.
Right. So I'm going to meet with Rich and see what we can do, and if, how we could implement something, or how we could implement the angel fund. And get people more aware of it and see what we could do to apply it. I wanna find out what are the parameters, you know, what jobs would be applicable. And how we could do it, and like the Friends, nothing, it wouldn't apply to the Friends at all. Because you're a separate 501c3.
Mhm.
And so the jobs that the people are doing, if, you know, somebody were to work at the thrift store, that wouldn't apply because that's not, the checks aren't coming from the town. It has to be a town function and town,
So does somebody actually have to claim that as their tax income?
I believe so, yeah. I would think so, I mean, just very quickly.
We just don't, like at the COA, like Beth said, we don't have any actual paid positions that are
Right.
volunteer.
I like the idea, I don't know if it's possible, if there's somebody who's unable to do the work exchange, that I could partner with Mr. Jones and say, I will work for Mr. Jones.
Yes, well, that's
You
exactly.
know what I mean?
Angel fund.
That's
That's
exactly
exactly
what
what
it
angel
is.
fund is. But it has to be a paying town. I mean,
But the work exchange, I don't get paid, it's just my taxes get reduced, right?
Right,
yeah,
but essentially what this is you going in and doing a job and having the money that you would earn go towards somebody else's
so,
taxes.
correct, Christine does.
But I don't want a check,
Right,
I don't wanna have to show it on my tax return.
You will get a W-2.
I don't know if you could then
I'm
write
not
it off
sure.
as a
Those
charitable
tax guys.
deduction.
I would still
I-
get,
I've done a number of returns with work.
The work
programs,
exchange?
And they usually, and it's not consistent, by the way, even though it should be. Generally, you get a W-2. Some people even contribute a little bit to a pension fund.
Hmm.
Obviously not much because they're not earning lots of
Right.
money, but they do get a W-2. It's taxable income. So it doesn't end up making a lot of difference to
Yeah.
many of these people because they're already in an area where they're not gonna be paying many taxes if any.
right,
I think that there's a limit on how much you can work. to
Yeah,
contribute.
it's maybe $1,000.
here it is like 1,000 and so, there is a cap.
So, but I have been investigating it and trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's great.
What could we do? Like different ways that we could actually work to help seniors, and then maybe we could get other people involved as well. So I am working on that.
Can I add to that?
Yes,
Just that,
please do.
in the fall, Colleen will come, I think I talked to you about this.
Yes.
She's gonna do, some informational workshops for the RTE, which is the residential tax exemption.
Yeah,
Helping people fill out the forms and get the proper documents in, so we're gonna add that to our fall lineup.
Did I see something in July happening?
Oh, maybe it's July.
I took a picture or something. I mean,
I thought it was due by.
I
the end of
maybe
August or
confusing my
September.
brain with the shine. Yeah, I think you're right. No,
let me look it up. I saw something somewhere and I took a picture.
It is July.
I think it-
Yeah, I saw it.
Uh-huh.
No, it is July. I'm so sorry.
I think I might have saw it here. Let's see.
Hold on.
July 14th
Yes.
at 12.
Stop.
thank you.
Yes, that is true.
I take pictures so I
And where
remember.
is that stuff gonna be?
It's
held?
gonna be at the seal.
Anyway,
Yeah. And if we need more, she's doing it July and August.
okay.
So that's in our newsletter that's coming out in the next week. But she said if we see like we need more support, she's, willing to do that.
Did she make this flyer?
She make what?
Did she make the flyer?
Probably, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dave's the chair of the Board of Assessors.
yeah, we're
So
still.
he was going in and
Yeah.
really pushing for it, because
Oh,
everyone was
good.
doing it at the library.
Wait.
So I said, a lot of people just are comfortable going to the Council on Aging. A lot of our people.
No, I agree. The Council on Aging is the place to do it.
Yeah, I think everywhere is great too, like just
Yeah.
catching everyone, but we're important to have people.
So, on the UMass report, I have made a decision that I would like to share with everybody.
Hmm.
And it is pretty much final. I'm gonna do a final read through on it. But what I would like to do is, Terry, there's a UMass report that was sent. UMass, we hired them several years ago to do a consulting thing. It was $25,000. And they sent us back a lot of information with recommendations of what we should do to improve our services. And so we have done a reply to the select board. The town paid for the report, so we've done a response. And so what I've decided to do is to take it's 2 pages, a very short response. And I've named that executive summary. And I want to include an 8 to 9 page response as well. The reason that I think it's important is if they get like a 2-page thing, they may not understand the work that we have done behind it, that we've spent months. And I have spent a lot of time, and we've all invested a lot in this, and getting the statistical backup, and that everything that we're saying, we can prove with numbers. And they don't have to read, they can read what they want. I don't care if they read all of the backup. But I want them to know that we've invested time and effort, and that everything in there can be statistically validated. So I want to send the whole thing to them. And I also want to make not a demand, but a very strong request that we get to stand before the select board. And like if we read, or if we do a little presentation on the statistics that we have, not just read something boring, but if we can get up and give a report on what we've done. The board is supposed to report to the select board, or committees are once a year. And I don't think we've done anything in years, but I want to get up before them and just let them know how much we do. Because I don't feel like we're appreciated sometimes, and I don't think that we market ourselves, and we don't do enough advertising for ourselves and how great we are. So I want to get up and do that in conjunction with giving them a report. So that's what I've decided. If anybody feels strongly the other way, let me know, because I'd like to hear, I really want to hear if anybody disagrees with me. Because I really respect everybody's opinion.
So this longer report is essentially that initial thing that got distributed. Okay,
Yeah.
and then that will, now Jerry comes to HIT classes and he volunteers for us. So
Yeah.
he's probably the
I
only
know
person on
Mary
the
does
select.
too.
Yeah, but he's very
Yeah.
aware,
And I know
but
that
not
he's aware,
everybody.
But I don't think many of them are.
He's
So-
great.
Might be not a bad idea to get people that do participate to talk to, what,
Yeah,
medical transportation, whatever it is that helps their quality of life, right?
oh, you mean get like little summaries from them?
Yeah. Or you might get a couple people to attend.
I mean, I think if you're gonna make a report to the select board, you don't want it to be this big,
No,
okay?
Right.
No,
I
we
think
want it to
that
be-
it's really good to give them also something like an executive summary with all of the attached
Yeah.
The back-
information that they
background.
can then look at their
Right.
leisure,
I agree.
okay?
I agree.
But I think also just if it includes things like, this is the percentage of our population that is served by what we do, okay? I
Right.
think those are numbers that they don't always have.
Well, and the
Um,
fact that this was an extensive set of, or survey. And that 60% response rate, I believe, was the thing, and I think that's important.
That's
to put in.
important.
It's, and the thing is that the respondents were higher, and UMass mentioned, was higher than what their average response rate is with a similar type
Okay.
of survey.
Right.
So this was very well responded to. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the select board with good reason is really focused on what they can do to keep young people here. Okay, and I think that's really important. But I think that in doing that, sometimes they forget about everybody else who is here.
Yeah, like I was looking around when we had the town meeting on Monday night. And the percentage of people that were there, and there were like 570.
There were a lot of people
And the
there.
percentage with gray hair,
Like 95%.
yeah,
Or no hair.
yeah, or no hair,
Well,
or hair that had been artificially colored. Was very
We're in
high.
a lot of.
Well, this is part of that survey too, and the fact is, what they did was they gave demographics, and the demographics are that Orleans and Eastham are some of the median oldest communities on the Cape,
Mhm.
and Barnstable County is the oldest county in the
In
country,
the country.
Right,
so, in the country. So basically, you're looking at the oldest of the oldest.
right.
Yeah, and
I
it's
knew
been
you
like
were
that,
old.
yeah.
I mean, our survey did include, I think we did 50, was it 50 on average, you guys remember? Because we tried to
Well,
go
that's what's
just
included.
for the up and coming, yeah, in the UMass, yeah.
Yeah. But we do have 3 people that will be 100. Who live in our town by the end of this year,
Did they all get a cane?
Just one.
just the
Just-
oldest.
But we did sing to Lillian yesterday at the lunch with friends, because she's turning 100 on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's amazing that there were 3 people turning 100 and the town was small.
The cane is really very small too, it's about this big, right?
No,
The cane?
Yeah,
no,
is it a full, si-
it's a full-size
It's a
replica.
full-size cane.
is it?
The
Yeah.
replica's
Yeah.
a little shorter than the
Right.
big one.
Right,
It's not a great cane.
But it's not a little.
I mean.
It's
I
not a
would
mini
do
cane.
100 just
it's not a
because-
mini cane, it's not like a wiffle ball bat.
I mean,
I
just
wouldn't
to
invent
say
it
that,
all.
look at us, we've got 3 100-year-olds, we must be doing something right.
Yeah, what's
Right?
amazing is Marjorie was at that volunteer thing and she was dancing in her chair, music. I mean, she's feisty, she's fun.
Yeah.
She's
Careful.
dancing on her feet afterwards. She's.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was dancing on the stage after.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's even scarier.
She makes me look bad.
It's too bad we didn't have a physician there
She's-
just in case.
Amazing.
Gotta go like this. See it.
No, I mean, it's amazing to see, these centurions really, it's unbelievable, and they're fit and healthy and moving and active and social and happy and
Yeah.
engaged.
Both,
So,
both Joni and Margie come to exercise classes.
Yep.
3 times a week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, people at that age are, their health is very, it's all over the board.
Yeah.
I did taxes for a woman in Harwich. And I'm looking at her, and if you looked at her, you go, no, she's like mid-60s maybe. And of course, I'm looking at her information, and a week later, she's turning 100. I said, oh, congratulations. She says, oh, I says, do you wear glasses? She says, well, I have to wear cheaters every once in a while. So I get my glasses at CVS. And she was well groomed, well made up, very mobile, You know, hearing is good. Literally, I thought she was maybe mid-60s. And I've seen people in their mid-60s who were in pretty tough shape too.
And-
But, so the health and age are not always,
Right.
you know,
Now, is she active at her local senior center?
not that I know of.
No.
Probably thinks
I
they're
mean,
too old.
but the problem with,
Yeah,
you know, and I
exactly.
said, you know, how do you feel? She's, all my friends have died. Two of my children died.
That's tough.
So she's outlived.
Yeah.
You know, almost all of the people in her, you know, in her life,
In her life.
especially people that are close to her, like her children.
A major determinant of that is whether or not one partakes of cigarettes and alcohol. And if you look at the people that partake heavily of cigarettes and alcohol, by the time they hit their sixties, it's like, oh my God, they look like they're in their eighties,
Yeah,
and vice versa. It's huge.
I don't know about that alcohol part.
Oh, no, Karen.
Take the
It's a
cigarette out
combination.
of my
Yeah.
92-year-old great grandfather's hands.
we
when
also-
we
we're
decided
talking about
it was more
food
dangerous to
insecurity.
the house around it.
Food
Yeah.
insecurity?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We just,
so Dorothy and I meet pretty regularly, and she has already put, she's way ahead of us. She put in the newsletter that's going out about bringing excess produce to the senior center. And I had been a little concerned about the health department.
Mm-hmm. You're being recorded, you don't need to whisper.
So if I whisper, it's.
Yeah, it's still on record, yeah.
It's futile.
they're not
Done
gonna
it
listen.
for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
The
all-
health department talked about
They-
bringing things to their
To their-
community
exactly.
kitchen, so I
You
think
have
we're
to
good.
refrigerate it properly,
Yeah.
so, you know,
Yeah,
you
so,
just have to make sure that it's works.
but hopefully we can encourage people to bring their excess produce to the senior center and seniors who need it.
Yeah, what's great is people have been doing it since I've been there 14 years, like
Yeah.
they would organically just bring it.
Yeah.
over the box.
Big table in the back.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
Yeah, so we
it's
can
awesome.
really encourage them.
But it's a nice reminder
It is.
to have it in the newsletter.
So we can encourage people to come and bring it. And there's like a number of great organizations down here. And one of them is Sustainable Cape that's located in Truro. And they do amazing stuff, like the woman Francie Randolph, she runs the rural farmers market. And they're doing this program down at the Eastham Elementary School, where they're helping the kids grow a garden. And I know right now they've been looking for volunteers to water the garden. I don't know if we want to get into that because it's already ongoing. But one thing she's doing is having food as a prescription. So that they're like, I don't know who's prescribing it and I don't know the program in depth. But people can get food that's been prescribed by either a nurse practitioner or a doctor from the Truro market and then be paid by their insurance company, be repaid for it. So that if somebody has diabetes or another medical condition that food would be healthy for. So I don't know if we would want to talk to Francie at some point when, I know her busy season, I imagine it's right in the middle of it now, but find out more information from her. And see if that's something that we could kind of look into and maybe find out more and see.
Yeah, we should probably talk to Mira, who was running the farmer's market, I think she was spearheading.
Yeah,
Cause it sounds like something that would go through, right? Sounds like it's through the farmer's market.
I think right now she has it through the farmer's market, yeah.
Yeah.
And she also has a thing where, veterans are able to get, she phrases it as thank you for your service, like coupon where they get discounts. And then the people with the farmer's market are reimbursed. So I think all of that is really fascinating, but I think it would be nice to have Francie in to talk to us about her programs. And see if we could arrange that. And then I ran into a couple of my acquaintances
Hmm.
down at the farmer's market. I was very busy at the farmer's market.
Sounds like.
And one of them Tom, is on the climate action committee.
He's the chair, Tom.
He's the
I
chair.
think, yeah, he's awesome.
Mhm.
So he also runs a
Music thing at his house.
music thing with I love, so. But he asked if, well, we talked about having they're doing a survey now. And we talked about having it maybe down there. The senior sent the survey, and then you're having him in, or the committee in. or an event.
So we have, Cape Cod Commission is working with Climate Action. We
With the
probably-
town.
with the town as well, and all town departments. So they're gonna come do a focus group.
Oh, they are.
They are, yep, yep, that's in July,
Is that in the newsletter?
it is in the newsletter.
It is?
Yeah. So they're gonna come do that, that's true, and then they're interviewing all. Partners, you know, so like I had it with them, just trying to figure out like what's important, what we're doing, what we're be open to. In terms of, you know, sustainability.
They're doing a town-wide thing in July at the library.
Yes, I think I put that,
Oh,
I
that's
think that write-up's in my newsletter possibly. I can't remember. I was getting a lot of stuff this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, talking stuff.
The survey was interesting. It had a lot of stuff and then it asked for more.
Yeah, so, Bev and I talked about, we'll have that survey available at the senior center for people.
Yeah. They didn't have, like David and I want added, like the use of fertilizers in there, like banning that. I mean, like significantly reducing it. So, I think, oh, and then I also, a friend of mine is on the recycling committee. And so she may pop up and see. She's very sweet. But I think that's about all I have, really. Between the two of us, we've covered pretty much everything.
Email,
Oh, but you're gonna cover that, right?
if you want me to, I will, but it's under
Well,
your
Because,
bailiwick.
because I'm a fairly inexperienced chair of a committee. And sometimes I mess up. And I need Cheryl to keep me straight. She would like to talk to us about emails and how I run way too close to the fire in my emailing practices. And she would like to discuss,
I thought you were
How
going
we
to,
can-
but that's okay.
huh?
I can do it.
Well, because I may mess up.
Well, you're the expert.
Well, I don't know if I call it an expert, it's just my
But
experience.
way more than
I
do.
learned when I was the chair of Climate Action Committee is, we have to be really careful when we're communicating by email. Even if we're not deliberating, it's the appearance of deliberation. And anything that is, and then when we email as a group, then we are a quorum. And we can't be deliberating or discussing things without having things announced and open to the public, because then you break an open meeting law, right? So with emails, you know, it gets tricky. And so the best thing to do, but everybody really has to be vigilant about, if something gets sent out, do not reply as a group. We can't reply, because if we reply as a group, then we're having a conversation. If a document gets sent out, you can give your comments to the one person who's the owner of that document. But we can't be having an exchange or even a vote or even a consensus. Like, I wrote this, is this okay with everybody? It's too close to the line. And with everything going on, do you know what I mean? We just have to be really thoughtful about that. Now, I talked to Bev the other day, if we certainly could send something out and say, please read this before the meeting,
For discussion at the meeting.
for discussion at the meeting, but we really can't get into working on stuff. Now, you could have a work group, but it can't be a quorum of members. So whatever our quorum is, we gotta be less than that. And see, with climate action, there's a few of us, because I'm not on the official committee anymore, we're volunteers. So their work groups is, they have a couple of members, then they might have a volunteer or two. So we're able to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like Bev and I can push things back and forth, but we're not making any decisions, but we can't be a quorum. And chances are, would we ever, anyone notice it?
So what's your quorum?
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Right now, there are 8 of us, soon to be 7. So our quorum would be
4.
Four.
Magnificent.
I was doing math.
Mm.
I think it's 4, right?
Yeah,
But when we send it out to the whole group, we don't know, so that's under, and everybody replies all, so we are at a quorum. So it's not meant to make life more difficult, it's just to be working within the open meeting law
Yeah.
guidelines.
And
That
what
would
makes
say a
me-
work group can only be 3 people then, because if you
Yeah.
have 4, it's 4.
Yeah,
yeah,
you can have that, you could meet, but you would have to post the meeting
Yeah.
and be open to the public.
Yeah, say if anybody else wants to attend, they
Then
can.
you'd have to.
They're
do
welcome
minutes.
to.
And you take, it'd be like a
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah. And if I wanted to have, so if I wanted to meet with 3 other people, I would have to send the meeting announcement to Kendra, who would have to post it at least 4 days in advance, about where it was, how to access it on Zoom if somebody wanted to. In
I don't
order-
know if we have to do Zoom anymore, do we?
Well, I think we have to post the meeting. I don't
Have to
think we
post the meeting, I don't know if
We
Zoom
don't-
is
We're not
required anymore.
required to do Zoom.
Because people can't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So we have to do that. The reason that I'm nervous about it is there was an incident recently where a member of the planning board had an email correspondence with a member of the select board. And they were discussing an active thing that was going on with the planning board. And the person that was involved in it was about sued on an open meeting violation, which is
Sued,
the town.
The town.
so the town was sued?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they were talking about them.
Yes. Now, and they also called him an unsavory name. Now, it wasn't a violation because it was 2 different committees and only 1 person on each committee. But it did make me nervous knowing that there are people out there that are watching.
That watch this.
I wonder how they became aware. Because it was this person, this committee, and this person, and how did the person,
That I have no idea.
because that seems like something leaked.
Well,
Yeah,
and if you read the stuff on our Facebook pages and everything, there's a lot of stuff that.
Yeah, I
that's
don't know.
happening on Facebook pages,
I don't,
so I just think
Right.
that
I don't read
the
it.
safest and best thing is to be not to do that.
Right, yeah. And then, I mean, that's why I'm nervous about it. And that's why I really wanted Cheryl to talk about it
And,
in our meeting today, so. And I'm thankful.
and a couple of times I said on the email, I think we're walking close to the line, please
Yeah.
don't respond to all. But I understand sometimes it's just natural, respond to all, respond to all. So that's why I said,
Yes.
And
And
then
then,
The
it works
best-
the other way too, though, when you send people stuff and then they don't just respond to you and you wanted them to respond to everybody.
but I think if most of the time we don't initiate it, so it does
Mhm.
fall on Bev not to send
Sure.
things out like that.
but I'm thankful that Cheryl, like, watches what I did.
And you can have executive sessions, but generally that's on personnel matters or litigation matters.
Right.
You're still allowed to have executive session?
I don't know if we are as a committee, the board does, the select board does.
I think any
we're-
town board has that. Let's
I
just
think
say
we're
that you
allowed
were,
to.
you were discussing maybe salary or something about, the staff at
Yeah,
the COA. To me, that would be something that's not in the public's purview.
Except that now that's not. an
But even
issue
the
because
board, the
staff
select
is-
board, they'll post that they're having an executive session.
Yes, but you don't
It
get
has to
to,
be
you don't get to see the
agenda.
minutes or what happened.
Right.
You may see the end result, say if they're gonna fire somebody.
Yeah, but that
you may
doesn't
see
fall
that
within
as
our
well.
bailiwick,
Yeah,
or an advisory board.
Yeah, so.
But I hear what you're saying. So anyways, I don't need to belabor the point, just we need to be thoughtful.
yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so the committee reports. Is there anyone with any questions about what we've gone over?
Nope, thank you.
Sarah, do you have any updates? Anything you wanna Any information you would like to share from the meetings?
Sure.
Oh, boy. Are we in for it now?
Way too quick.
All right, so, we had a pretty good volunteer luncheon,
We did.
a couple of weeks ago.
Very nice.
You know, the cane, was presented, to our oldest citizen in Eastham. Always an exciting event. We had our first scholarship award to Alex
That
Malbec.
was very nice.
Who, if you think about, you know, who would be the perfect person to get a scholarship? Alex is the poster child. Now, we're also looking for Alex replacements. You know, primarily from Nelson High School, but we're open to somebody from the trade school, Cape Cod Tech, or, you know, and we're gonna work with Dorothy to, you know, figure out, you know, who do we need, from basically high school juniors or seniors that can add to, the senior center, you know, what would be good for our constituency, if you will. And so we hope to continue the scholarship program. The, newly formed scholarship committee met yesterday. I'm sorry, it's meeting tomorrow. The one that was yesterday was the finance committee, first meeting of the finance committee. So, you know, one of the things that's happened with the Friends over the last year or so is we reached a whole new stage of, I guess, maturity. We have a policy and procedures manual that's coming close to publication. Our website is not as far along as we thought, but it will be there. There's just a number of things that we're institutionalizing and creating a little more infrastructure to manage the organization. Let's see. We're almost at the end of our fiscal year, and we're gonna run a surplus, I think of around $20,000. So a couple of things have caused that. Thank you, Dorothy, for underspending a little bit. And we've had some very generous donors. Our thrift shop continues to be basically the backbone of our fundraising. And its sales, I think, are up a little bit from last year, but still our backup. And of course, we're always looking for volunteers, primarily for the thrift shop. And we're looking to, you know, run some programs, maybe fundraising programs, maybe one of them for the scholarship fund. So, like I say, we do plan to continue that. We're developing, the criteria for it. In fact, thank you. She just, Dad just gave me a bunch of, information, bunch of notes. So, we'll be working on that tomorrow, and it's an ongoing process. You know, to recruit, you know, candidates from the junior and senior high school, classes. And of course, jobs that I think will be worthwhile for them and beneficial to our seniors. So that's what we're volunteer, by the way, volunteer programs. So I know most high schools have programs where they want community service from their students. So this is an option for people to basically fill their high school requirement and learn something and benefit our seniors. So all winners. And if we have, like, you know, somebody there that's working hard and really contributing, they're gonna get a little extra for their college. Anyway, any other questions? You know, we'll be reviewing, you know, the budget here, at our next meeting. We're also developing our own budget, you know, for the thrift shop and other expenses. So this is basically most of our spending out of something. So, any questions, you know, for the Friends?
I'd just like to make one point. It's nice to see you and Karen back at these meetings and providing input to the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from my view, I think, you know, we're a fairly open organization, and if you have any questions or concerns, just, you know, let us know. And of course, I look at us as part, you know, and our mutual client, if you will, are the senior citizens of Eastham.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think it's important that we work together. And understands what each is doing, you know, responsibilities don't cross.
Uh-oh.
There's two different versions there.
2 different versions. Well, I only kept one.
There's one in the back and then one in the,
No, it's got a side pocket.
yeah,
So
So
it's the ones for that side.
oh, okay, so I'm sorry, I gave you all pieces that shouldn't have.
you what?
There should be one that looks like this and one that looks like that. So that's for you, both of those you need, and I need a set, and they need,
We can share.
well, there's enough, I think, it's just, I thought they were not, it wasn't 2 pages we were supposed to keep. So if
And
you,
which ones, you need one of each?
I need one of each.
Yes, one of each. And which ones do you need?
I need the one
Richard needs-
with the itty bitty writing.
And I need
Richard
one
has-
with the red.
Okay, so that,
There you go.
there's one of each
Both
there.
of each guy.
And Richard needs.
But do you have
Richard
one with the
has
red?
2
Okay.
pages, one that are,
I am complete.
he's complete, and I'm
Sure.
complete. All right. Did I write these?
I have.
Perfect. Well, one looks like a working document and then one looks like the regular document.
Well, one is a lane where I went through and replaced down with Will.
Yeah.
Down, strikes me as biblical.
Okay,
And I replaced any numerical number with the written number. Because
okay,
With English, it's supposed, with writing anything under 10, you're supposed to spell out. And
Oh,
then the
really?
other one, I replaced phrases. And then, because I was doing this at 4 AM, I forgot to do the one, I forgot to print out the one that I did with AI.
So it's true, but it was a legal document that I took those things from, and I think that's the way they were.
yeah,
I'm not being critical.
No, I'm just saying, you know, I think in a legal document, having a number 9 instead of written out 9 is actually okay.
Yeah, sometimes they do 9 parentheses.
But only for 9.
Only for 9.
I
So
like
that was just, you know, and 3s and, you know,
I like the fact with revisions that things are either bold or red,
mhm.
and anything that is deleted, you know, that's also highlighted. Just makes it a lot easier to see what's going on with the document.
Yeah, well, this is how it does it in Word, when you're, with a group of.
When you're
different
tracking
documents, So
changes.
that you can track the changes and then go through and accept them or reject them.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, I forgot the other one. I was doing a lot this morning. I get up early, so we can work on this. We can decide to put it off for a couple of months until our next meeting, which is in August. It's up to the group what we would like to do. If you would like this to marinate.
well, I will speak for Joan, because Joan will be a lot more opinionated and want to look at this, so I think,
and Paula,
right,
Yes.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
Joan and Paul.
Okay, I'll send it to them
yeah, I think,
and then
Yeah.
we can.
for discussion on
Okay.
August.
Yeah,
Sure. And just
that sounds good.
so everyone knows where this version came from,
Yes, like
I-
different file names.
I took,
If you look,
I
Oh.
took the Truro Council on Aging documents, the
Mhm.
Wellfleet Council on Aging documents, the documents that are on the town website about what the
Yeah.
mission is and the charter is. And I used those documents to put together a charge and bylaws that would reflect
Mm-hmm,
us as a advisory board.
mm-hmm. So you're gonna email these to all of us? No, you can email them to
For
us
discussion and all.
for discussion in
Okay.
August.
we will redo these in August.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
for discussion and that way then the people who aren't here will have them as well.
Linda, do you have anything on volunteers?
The we've sorted out the volunteers for the setting up of the, lunch with friends. They'll not be working during the summer because we're doing the lobster rolls.
Yep.
There is a group of people who have volunteered to put together the meals that are coming from Family Table Collaborative. So there's a team for Tuesdays and a team for Thursdays.
Awesome.
And I've given them each other's contact information, said there you are. The Lindas are doing Thursdays, but they got 2 backup people, and then there's 4 people that are going to do Tuesdays. Went to the yoga class, I think people.
We're
that
having
are off on
family
Tuesdays are gonna
collaborative
be-
twice a week.
Okay, so, sorry, I forgot this update. I always forget which group I told what,
Okay.
right? So I told the friends, and I apologize, I didn't tell you guys yet, but the high school raised their price per meal starting July 1. So I reached out to Family Table Collaborative, and, throughout our budget, and they were able to do it for the same price point where the high school is doing now. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, they bring trays of food. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, our volunteers are heating those up with a Serve Safe staff member and packing them up to be delivered.
How often were we delivering?
It's the same, all the same except for where the
Coming from a
meal's coming
different
from.
source.
Yep,
So we were delivering twice a week anyways?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what, okay.
Yep. The other thing I'm talking to Cindy about is, I had an encounter with a gentleman this week who is currently homeless. And he was looking for food. And I'm trying to think if maybe we could actually do a small percentage of these meals for those people that could pick up. And if they want to eat it at the CO, something like that. But he came in on a day we didn't, we have quite a bit of food there, like almost all the time, right? It was the one day we didn't really have anything to offer him. I invited him back for the grab and go, which we do, twice a month. So I just started thinking maybe there's some more legs to this, right?
Yeah.
Cause if we're already heating them up, we just have to account for the people, right? We just have to make sure we have enough of the food to do it.
In the summer, so many people lose their housing
Hmm,
because they're in houses that get rented in the summer.
right,
All winter,
right.
and then they
Yeah.
have to leave.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened to this gentleman. There was some more legal stuff.
Yeah.
So he's, unfortunately doesn't have anywhere to go. So it just made me start thinking,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily a food shelter, but like, or a soup kitchen, but how do we help those people that are kind of in a tough place or in transition or
Right.
displaced temporarily or,
Yeah.
what's happening. So, I'm thinking more on that. I'm also talking to Cindy about, she does that fun night out. I'm talking about, we had a brief discussion about maybe it's a night out where it's, instead of going to a restaurant, it's fun, it's still fun. But instead of like a night out, meaning like, instead of going to a restaurant, maybe we can do something, which we've talked about doing like a concrete meal.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought she did, when I saw the things like for dancing and other
She
things,
does.
there was a light food and,
there is.
An
just like
activity.
food, But I'm kind of proposing maybe we just focus on food,
Yeah.
Okay.
as opposed to having.
so an evening
entertainment.
meal as opposed to a luncheon meal.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I'm not sure what people need right now, but I'm just seeing more need across the board, so
Yep.
we're kind of figuring out what to do. Anyway, sorry to deviate.
No,
That's
no,
the
but-
Family Table Collaborative, that's.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we're
yeah,
doing
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So Linda so graciously found volunteers on
Oh,
Tuesdays
nice.
and Thursdays.
Yeah, I went to yoga class. I figured if people are yoga on Tuesday, then they're off on Tuesday.
Very good.
And my experience with, I'm involved with the HIP program, is that there develops a community among the people that participate in those groups. And so there were 3 people that were neighbors and they said, oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
And it was just,
Yeah.
it was easy. It was an easy sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah,
Thank
folks
you.
want, folks want to help. They really do, but I think they want something concrete. And so this was something concrete.
Yeah.
They knew there was a need and they
Yeah,
could do it.
there was a
And
time.
yeah.
The same people will, we have some volunteers, doing the deliveries too, so. You know, and if people know someone in need, like, just let us know, because we still have room to add on. It is, yeah, and it really, when that guy comes around, I'm like, what can we do? How do we? Oh, right. Cheryl?
I hope people got the email I sent out with a report. Which sums up the, is there a way to have that be part of the minutes? Because we want it to be on record in the town, that report. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
I don't know, can I, Rich?
I'm not sure. And then that brings up the possibility of all the committee reports being part of the
Being part
minutes,
of it,
not
yeah.
just one.
Right.
But all of them.
They should be though.
but if you write them up, we have to write them up to be submitted, cause she does a summary of them.
Correct. Well, actually, what I was doing is putting them together in a packet.
Right,
And for distribution at the board meeting, but the thing is, my feeling was that they probably should be part of the official record. All of the committee
I think
reports.
they should be, yeah.
I think it's a lot. I think you just need minutes and you talk about highlights and you incorporate those highlights. I don't think we need a 12-page minutes document. If you look at all the other committees and all the boards, it's simply what their meeting discussion is.
Personally, I think that the committees, you should have a report you send ahead of a meeting.
I did request that.
Right,
but it's
ahead of
kind
a meeting so
Not-
people
that's
can
not a
review
committee.
them
Kind
and
of
that they
lost
should
interest
be,
recently.
they should be
Yeah.
included with the minutes.
But Cheryl did it this week.
Uh-huh.
for
I just
sure.
think it's.
well, I thought it was important to do a year-end report, Joan and I did.
That's right. I mean, I think you.
Do you
did.
know what I mean? And so I don't know if
Right.
there's a way to take any of that and include it in my minutes. Cause basically that's what I'm gonna talk about is that
Yeah.
report.
So I think anything you say today, that goes in the minutes. So anything you deem most important, I guess.
Well, I
or
don't
you
have it in
wanna-
front of me. I mean, the bottom line is, but I want more than this in the report, to be honest, is it was a smashing success this past year.
It's been
Do-
amazing.
Do you know what I mean? And so we thank the volunteers that Linda got to help with the tea, which was a great success. We had a lot of community members. It wasn't just a gay event. It was a fun event. And a lot of the folks came and really had a good time.
It was a great cross section.
You know, we had people from the town and a nice cross section and the volunteers. We had a lot of positive feedback. When are we gonna do it again? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. And thanks to Paula, we had that woman come and who
Yeah.
wants to come back again in the fall, just
Yeah,
do a tea.
I've got her booked already.
Oh, great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And somebody from other towns say, well, we want to bring it to our COA. And so it was great. So thank you. It was a really nice partnership. And
Yeah.
as it's in the report, we had several events. We did one with Orleans and we joined in, for people who saw a thing on Facebook, we had a nice contingent, not just us, but other people. And the Pride Parade in Orleans, Joan made a nice banner that said Eastham.
That was
Got
a
good video of that.
You were there and your husband was there. It was fun, but it was everybody. It wasn't just the gay community. It was just friends and, so I think it really has served its purpose.
Yeah.
I did send an email out this week to the group. I think I CC'd you in that
Yeah,
email,
talk about July.
letting them know we are not meeting the Monday after 4th of July. We're taking July off. Joan and I wanted a break, to be honest. It's just like a lot.
Well, with the holiday on that.
Yeah.
Friday too, it just makes.
You know, and
sense to me.
people are busy, but we'll start up again in
August 4th.
August. We're gonna have chocolate chip cookie celebration, cause around that week
Nice.
is chocolate chip cookie day. And,
That has been so successful and I'm so impressed every time I see the number of people who participate.
Why not? Yeah.
And there's a woman who lives on my street.
oh, I know who we mean.
Yeah, and she walks up and down my street, never talks to anybody, doesn't interact with people on the street. Won't talk to anyone.
She's very shy.
But then I saw her talking to, I think it was with you. And she was so outgoing and so like really involved and active
She's religious with our stuff.
and involved. And I just thought it was so wonderful to see somebody who won't talk to anybody in the neighborhood. And Dave and I have been there for 25 years and she was there the whole time.
She's very much an introvert.
And to see her be out of her shell so much.
Right,
I
I'm
think
so
it's great.
comfortable
I've
in that
seen
environment.
a lot of new members and people.
Yeah, it's.
with the
wonderful.
COA, we really try to encourage people to participate in other stuff and
Yeah,
we have a nice, solid volunteer committee. And like I said, we are going to meet sometime over the summer. Now that we have a fixed figure, we have experience, we're gonna kind of sketch out the year.
Yeah.
And do all that. And
yeah,
on the coffees, I say we have a dozen to 20 people, but we try to sometimes do something every month, whether it's, we see like what, every day is someday, right? I mean, it's doggy day or this day or that day. So we try to find a theme for the month. And sometimes it's more active than others. And, these days, people just appreciate the support. 'Cause,
yes.
It's scary times and
Cookies and ice cream are good too, though.
cookies and ice cream are good. Or activities like we made little Christmas balls and, Joan's so good with the arts and crafts
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then the senior center, they're just great because they lock us in and let us stay longer than. Do you know what I mean? Cause they're closing up and we don't end at 4 sharp because there's always there's the pre-gathering, there's the gathering, and then there's the gathering afterwards.
Yeah,
There's a gathering somewhere.
The meeting
Right.
after the meeting.
So, no, it's great. So we're very grateful and we will carry on. So again, we are gonna be looking. I was talking to some younger people, during the parade and there is some interest in trying to. I think the coffees will stick to the older folks and maybe try to open. It's tough now, cause everybody, even people who aren't necessarily in the community, they see what we're doing and they wanna be part of it.
Right.
And so we don't wanna be, we're not an exclusive community, and yet there's still a need for the Irish American Club. Do you know what I mean? Or the Italian Club. So
Mm.
how do you provide space for that safety that you want to be with your family?
right,
And then how do you provide space for everybody?
right,
So I think that will be what we'll be juggling.
yeah.
The library had that event too.
And the library had a great
I know
supper.
that sort of focused on the younger demographic.
We had some younger people
Yeah.
there and then they did something, the rec department did something that week. So the Lower Cape Pride Group, I will give them credit, that sparked a lot of communities to
Great.
do
Yeah.
things within their community.
Yeah,
And that isn't going away. I think they're gonna do something for 4th of July, but, so that group, I think, is how maybe the library got involved and
yeah, cause
Yeah.
Joanne is working.
Joanna was,
Joanna.
Joanna Stevens was
Yeah.
part of the larger planning group.
But she was also really involved in the library.
Yeah,
She was one of the,
she's a trustee.
yeah, she's
She
a
was,
trustee.
though, I think she's stepping down.
Yeah.
But she was a trustee
Yeah.
of the library.
So, no, it was fun and great and it's more work than you think. That's all I can say.
Wonderful.
It's a lot of work and
Yeah,
if Joan was here, I mean, she is very appreciated and loved by the community, cause
Yeah.
she really brings. That's not my skill set, so
Yeah.
we're a good match, our skill sets are really different,
Yeah.
so, anyway, she knows how to throw a party,
yeah,
Yeah.
She makes mass quantities of food.
she does,
She's good at it.
yeah,
she
she's
is,
good at the,
and fresh flowers at all the events.
Nice.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you very much, and we will carry on the next year.
so one thing that I didn't cover that Dorothy and I have talked about is there's some of the classes and stuff, there's not a lot of attendance and other things are huge. So we were talking about, like, how do we kind of balance that out a little more? And Dorothy came up with doing like a hot topic thing. And
Mhm.
Yeah, so people love fun, right? So it's more like we notice that the valuable educational programs sometimes we run are not well attended. So what we did see was when we do have an educational program, so I'll give you a couple examples. So we'll often have the R&B come, right, and do a presentation. A regular old presentation will have a handful of people. But when it was timely, when the real IDs were coming out, we had like 50 people attend. So I want to still provide educational programs, but really like what is current, what can we focus in on that people, it's timely, right? So people are gonna want to come and attend and hear about what's going on.
Yeah.
And then we had Burritt from Outer Cape Health for the Navigator program. We had like,
Two people.
again, a handful of people.
There were 2 people there, I think there was 6 signed up,
Yeah.
and then I was there and one other woman and somebody came in virtually.
Yeah.
And it was
So-
awful, cause
Yeah,
I
it's a
felt so
shame.
bad.
Because people come and they have a beautiful presentation with their time. So we're trying to look at that and sort of reevaluate, how do we get interest? And, I was just basing it on timely, right? So. So Bev and I were talking about, I don't know if she's talked to Paula about it yet, but Paula's kind of on that outreach community, sort of in that committee. So maybe, the 3 of us kind of initially working together to look at what's timely, her kind of doing some outreach to local organizations or people to get more of those programs in. And I just kind of threw a hot topic, we'll figure out
Right.
something fun and good, but does that make sense and resonate with you guys? Cause I feel like we're doing these, sometimes you have like police and fire and nobody shows up and it's such valuable information. And
I
don't
like
know-
having the town departments come, but I know that the last few have been pretty well attended, but
Yeah,
sometimes there haven't been well attended.
yeah. Corey's coming from the library. I'm gonna have him do all the apps and all the fun stuff.
Oh, that's good.
So he's gonna come, I can't remember if it's July or August, but that'll be a fun one. So I think that'll be pretty well attended, I
Yeah.
hope.
If
But
there's,
it's just, there is valuable information, but it's like, how do we get people to go, right? So maybe it is just tying it in with some current events or something timely going on. Or we have to have some kind of fun element, even with food. I mean,
I was gonna say,
sometimes
if
It's like,
sometimes that
you
helps.
have food, they'll come.
Sometimes
A
that
couple of
helps.
people will come.
But we've had, we did donuts and coffee, I think it was a PD last fall, and it was not well attended.
Really?
And I was shocked because, they're great, like, they're in the community, people know them, they love them. they
You wanna
respect
know
them.
them when they pull you over.
So.
That's right. And you put a donut under your license, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know how that
It might have
donut
been
got there.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like,
So.
oh, not to get arrested, why we would arrest you.
How did I get pulled over, right? But I think.
These are the speed traps. These
Yeah.
are the empty cars.
But
When you
I
see
think
it near the
because-
cemetery, there's nobody in there.
I think the 3 of us initially, I said that Paula, that's her like committee, right? Will kind of broach this and figure out like where we go. And then once we do that, maybe, if people have ideas or thoughts, just,
Yeah.
send them out to Paula and then, the 3 of us will kind of work on it and then give you guys updates. on
I've been
kind of
thinking
where we're
about
at.
maybe like Bitcoin.
Well, yeah,
We don't wanna touch.
so listen,
Yeah, but
somebody asked about it and I
That's
think
tricky financial
I know.
advice, no,
I think that
financial
don't
advice,
get
it's
it.
just information
about Bitcoin.
about Bitcoin. That's it. And if people are interested, I'm up for providing a program, that's
But
my
I, yeah,
feeling.
I'm not sure on that one. That could be,
I don't know, I just,
Well,
it scares me,
with great opportunity comes great risk.
right,
That's all I want to
mostly
say.
great risk.
I have to find somebody really objective and knowledgeable about investing.
So,
Maybe, yeah,
I have
Like, not the
that
guy who
AI
wants to-
technology guy, Russ Wilcox. And I asked him if he, would be able to provide information on Bitcoin, and he said he could. And he's really, he's not a financial person, so I think it's almost better to not have a financial person and just talk about what it is, finish business. Does that make sense?
But what are some other like big topics that people are talking about now that aren't political?
So,
Everything's political, like,
It's all political.
everything in life is
Everything
political.
can get charged by what's going on in the world right now, so,
Cell
Make a
phones.
protest sign.
What'd you say?
I
How
just
to make
think,
a
I just
protest
included
sign?
them in my Arts Light newsletter. Oh, they protest signs, how creative people have gotten with their
Yeah.
protest
Oh, I love
signs.
Um,
But there's, for example, like right now, there's a pretty big phone scam about parking violations.
Yes.
And we did an interview just yesterday or the day before with the head of the RMV
Yeah.
about these texts. And I mean, I'm not a particularly susceptible to scam person, but I got a text about a parking violation, and I knew that my son had gotten a parking ticket on my car in Connecticut, okay? And it took me 10 minutes to read through this thing to realize that was not what this was about.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've gotten the one,
Um,
it's big on toll violations.
toll
That's been great.
violations, yes,
That's a big one.
Yeah, I got those.
yeah.
yeah, we do have
Um,
people like from Better Business, like, they come and talk about scams and various things.
You know, but I
But
have a
those-
video now of that, of some,
Yeah.
of the director of the RMV talking about this scam and, and people like
Speaking of,
watching.
does the Citizen
people
have a
like-
YouTube page yet? Are we able to,
It's still just through the town right now.
so go
We
to
are
the town
posting-
YouTube and look for
yeah.
the exercise classes
Yeah,
there?
they're up there. We added more, so.
That's a really-
But something to think
I
about.
have a separate discussion question I wanted to
Oh, okay.
to Dorothy about at some point about
But
website
About
stuff,
different
but-
hot topics and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
any hot topic's gonna have a degree of controversy to it,
Yeah, right.
right? Cause that's why it's a hot topic.
So if people have ideas.
Yeah, I think
In
if
real
people have
life.
ideas, just feel them.
Yeah.
All I think is
Yeah.
what we talked
And we'll
about.
let Paula know that's her new job.
Yeah, you
And
have,
Are
send them
people
directly
coming to
her,
the
not
AI
to everybody.
what's that?
Are people coming to the
They
AI?
love it. They love
Very
it.
well attended.
They love it. Big, big, big. Big attendance. So,
What is that, what is that based on? Is it like Alexa or that type of thing, or what?
everything.
Everything.
He covers everything.
Oh.
So he gives us topics each month. I think the last month it was a 2-part. I forget. Do you remember what he was talking about? I don't remember. It's kind of over my head. That's why he's coming. But yeah, he talks about, I think there was one about AI writing, and he just there's a lot to it.
Elaine? Did you?
No, it's just, I'll get together with Dorothy at some point, I would like to just talk about our website on the town website, our stuff on the town website and whether. I spent a lot of time recently on the Wellfleet Council on Aging website, which is
Yeah, they
pretty
have a really
fabulous,
new.
really fabulous, and it would be,
Talked
I've been
about,
looking to-
it
revising,
would be so nice to have something that was ours.
yeah.
So the Friends are working on one now, I know that.
Yeah.
The Friends are, in the
Yeah.
throes of putting.
For them or
them.
to
For
include you
them,
guys?
yeah.
For them.
I mean, my big thing is I don't have time to be on a website all the time, so
Right.
it's
Mhm.
really about having a
Somebody
dedicated
who
person.
is gonna do that, yeah,
And
no, I get that.
Trying to get something since last September. And I feel like I need to get permission before we do anything. But the library has their own website.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't particularly like theirs. But it's so hard to find us on
Us,
I think
yeah.
the
there's,
town website.
is theirs sponsored by the Friends? I can't remember. Or the
But-
trustees.
Well, I
I
will
asked
tell
that
you that
question.
the Friends website will have a link to
Yeah.
the COA website.
Yeah. Oh, God, no.
Or it should, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of a no-brainer.
Right.
So the link that I gave to Friends brings people directly to where our newsletter is. And I think that's the most value, so that's all we got. That's kind of the best that I could think of.
Yeah,
to go directly there, and then from there, they can navigate, you know, what it is, but.
but I want something that would go directly to the activities, like what is
So,
available?
again, I just need somebody to actually load those in there,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
that's,
I-
you know.
yeah.
That's half the,
Yeah.
that's all the battle. It's really time and having somebody to be
Uh-huh.
able to constantly update and keep on it, because everything's changing daily, hourly, right? I mean, there's some consistent things that we can have in there, right? But I would want a dedicated person that is like, that's what they do, because,
But I think that's really important moving forward.
yeah.
Because maybe the 100-year-old people we have don't walk around with their phones and their laptops and their, but
But if we're trying to do
Doubtful,
the new people.
younger
Right.
people,
doubtful that they would.
I know, but I have 90-year-old, when I was running the Chamber Music Festival, I had 90-year-olds who were doing that, okay?
Yeah.
They wanna see the schedule, they go to their phone, they wanna look at a video of
Mhm.
what's, you know, who's coming to perform, they
Yeah.
look at their
Yeah.
some,
Some,
so,
Some.
well,
We have a lot
I
of
had a lot of them.
really.
older
Yeah.
people
Wow.
that do use their phone, they pull up our newsletter
Wow.
or the
Uh-huh.
calendar
Right.
right from their
Mhm.
phone. and
Yeah.
Monica.
You know,
just
and
mentioned
that's
one.
just gonna continue to happen, that's not,
I know,
Yeah.
you
and
know.
I put in a couple of requests.
Mhm.
And I was told that if I participated in Halloween on the Green, Jackie would get right back to me. So there I was on the Green.
That's okay. Went to talk to her about my street, she said, as
Running-
soon as town meeting.
running that table.
It's a lot, wastewater is
Never
done.
heard of
it's-
We had fun though,
We did, we had a great time.
but you didn't have any follow-up for town hall.
I don't, want-
That was the carrot with it.
I don't want to disparage.
Well, maybe there's something we can do
Yeah,
off of what the Friends are creating now,
Right.
you know?
Let's-
Cause they
let's
talk
get ours
about
kicked
putting
off.
our events up there
Yeah.
as well, and
right.
so maybe it's, you know, we can partner in some way if they're already doing part of the work, right?
But I need to be sure that if it's gonna be on the town and we have associated with the town website, that we follow all of the, you know, the
Yeah.
precautions and all of the
Sure.
permissions and
Yes,
all of that sort of
yes,
stuff
yes,
that's
yes.
associated with the
Mhm.
town, because they've got everything locked down pretty tight,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of different, different security levels and all that. So that's a big difference from the Friends. I mean, and I really appreciate what the Friends are doing, and I think it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, I mean, our website has nothing to do with the town,
Right.
Right,
really. I mean, it does and it doesn't, you know.
Right.
yeah,
Got a lot
You
of
guys
work
are
rate
free
about
to
well.
do what you need to do.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's a lot of security on the town website with all of the different,
Don't want people getting scammed through our website,
through the town website.
on our website. We don't want our website
The
to be a
good news
scam.
is we are getting the information out, you know, there's not a specific great place, but Monica spends a lot of time. Doing these awesome e-blasts
Right.
every week, every day.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going
And
on.
they're great.
And I get a lot of positive feedback, from those, because people, they often don't remember something's happening, or they had it on the calendar for last week and they'll get a reminder, and it's really, I think it's very helpful.
Yep.
So we're doing a lot of outreach, right?
Mhm.
But agreed, like, to actually go somewhere, it's, there's no real place that exists. And then social media posts, which are very popular as well. So I think we are getting more outreach and information to people,
Mhm.
but you're right, going to the website, and at least you can pull up the newsletter and the calendar,
Right.
but
Right.
it could definitely be
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you have to be a private detective to get to it. Town website.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, the town was.
It's even like a different name. You can't get to it by council and aging. Like the
senior center or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's senior center. So you have to figure all that out. And it's like they have to be Hercule Poirot to figure. So is there,
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
I was just going to entertain that.
I will second that.
Oh, we're 20 minutes early.
And do we have? Can you take a vote on the motion on?
Okay, out the door.
And we'll miss you.
Yeah.